making gifts. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.
Celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7. I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88. Even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's good to be home. We are back in the studio. Thank you for tuning into the Oreo Express. Josh here. Hope you're having a fabulous, I feels like a Monday today, even though we've been working for, I don't know, like 13 days straight. Feels like a Monday. And I'll tell you what, the news cycle is like a Monday. We got a lot to cover between this show and the next show. We got some exciting news, kind of. We got some stuff that I know some of you are really going to turn up the volume because it's going to be Kamala Harris coming out this weekend. Talking about her election. She was on The View today. She was on MSNBC over the weekend. We're also going to talk about Trump declaring Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. And I didn't have time to get everything done, but you wouldn't believe it. The Democrats are actually standing behind Antifa. It's not that hard. We're going to cover in our next show. Yesterday on Trump's autism response, you literally have pregnant liberals going online and taking Tylenol after Tylenol while they're pregnant. You can't make this stuff up. Also, big announcement. Google, this is the biggest thing. Google admits that they censored due to the Joe Biden regime. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democrats who are preaching about free speech. And they vowed to return those accounts. But there's some caveats. I've been praying to be returned to my original YouTube channel for a long time. I think, what we have, 76,000 subscribers and growing every week. We're going to talk about that and much more. Let me see who's in the chat. We got Susan, Trina, Melissa, Naya, and apologize for being late, by the way. I had two issues. So right before the live stream, the district attorney called. I have court for Trans-Tifa tomorrow. And she was giving me some information on a plea deal that the defense wanted to do. And I agreed to most of it, as long as there's restitution included. And so she's going to send an email off. We'll know more. If they disagree to that, then that felony won't be dropped to a misdemeanor, and we'll go in and we'll testify and we'll bring video and everything else that we need to bring. So, and then I go online, and for some reason, my service or my studio said you need to you don't have a subscription. And I was like, we took care of that. I don't know what happened, but I went back and forth with it, and I closed it out, restarted the computer, came back up, and it's working now. So let's hope we don't have any problems in the middle of this. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Can't do it without you. Let's see who else. Nola's in the house. Deb V, Sugar Bear, Pixie, Mike B over there. How you doing, Mike? Mini Ball, Newfie Guy, Karen Sunflower, Lycopodium. And let's see who I'm gonna go down pretty far. So if I miss you, that's your bad. Montadel. Montadel says, Josh, you covered the riots in 2020 and 2021. You know exactly what Antifa is all about. Yes, Antifa, Trans-Tifa, people that they just pledge an allegiance to be communism and hate America and do everything to destroy it with violence, fear, looting, vandalism. In some cases, we've seen murder from these far left groups. And so that was interesting. Hello, Carol Burton. How are you? Becky Boo. Thank you guys for tuning in. What are we starting with? So we're just going to start a little bit of some highlights and some things you might not have seen. As you guys know, we spent the weekend in Phoenix, Arizona for Charlie Kirk's memorial. I still haven't I wouldn't say it was a high, but it kind of was a high to see everybody praising God, to see a movement that they call fascist and racist, homophobes and bigots just go and celebrate Charlie Kirk's life. You know, he spoke truth. I still haven't found a clip that I disagree with. I haven't. There's some things I disagreed with, like when he went on the Gavin Newsom podcast. I was like, oh, don't do this. He's trying to get to the center. Didn't do a whole lot for Gavin Newsom, so I'm not that. I let that go because Gavin Newsom was trying to act like he was center right for a while. Even on the trans issue with males and girls sports. Well, that's unfair. Well, do something about it. You're governor of the state. But check this out. We have Charlie Kirk's memorial had 20 million live viewers streaming on cable and TV. This is the New York Post. And they tracked a total of 100 million viewers across internet platforms. So that's Rumble, YouTube, X, Getter, all these different things. So 120 million. That beats the biggest sports things we have. It was absolutely incredible. I hope it touched many more hearts. There's still comments I'm seeing today where people are like, what is all this about? Didn't know Charlie Kirk, probably in a generation that isn't online. They just go to work, take care of their kids, and they're like, wow, this guy's just like me. I wish I would have known about him sooner. How do I help? What can I do? So, and then this was awesome. If you guys know, this kind of has a special place in my heart. If you guys remember, my mom passed away, not last November, but the November before. And at her funeral, a rainbow came out. And I just thought it was a sign. Might sound stupid to you, but I just thought it was a sign, like my mom looking down on me, saying it'll be okay. This was that turning point after the memorial. Take a look at that. God's covenant. God is an awesome God. From heaven above. I mean, just I don't know. That gives me the chills, guys. It really gives me the chills. Really gives me the chills. Just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And it couldn't have went down any better. Turning Point got that whole thing set up in like 7 days. And I could tell you, other than the chaos in the line, which is Turning Point hires security to do all this, they couldn't do anything about it. And the chaos in the line actually benefited us. There were so many people when we got there. I don't know if we would have been let in, and we were probably the first 10% of people into that stadium. And I wanted to talk about this, and I think this is important. This is from the Washington Post. I'm going to show you the tweet. It says, analysis. Charlie Kirk's memorial service was a melding of religion and politics, unlike any ever seen before, or perhaps it was proof that the line that used to separate them may no longer exist. I hope that line that separated politics and religion on our side is gone. For many years, many of you were raised, you just don't discuss politics in church. I can tell you this from my own analysis. When COVID happened, there were some churches that stood up. There's some churches in Northern California. There's churches in Southern. I'm not going to point out the churches, but there's one in Southern California where they were upset about what the school district was doing. And they talked about it in their church, and they encouraged their church to do something about it. Now, in that specific school board, three of the church members are now on the school board doing what's right for your students. When you're told politics and religion shouldn't mix, then you're not paying attention, in my opinion, to the way we need to be in America. And the only reason I'm saying that is religion should determine your faith, should determine your politics. If it doesn't, and those are two separate things for you, I guess you have to ask yourself, what does determine your politics? Is it culture? Because I can turn on the news right now. I can turn on TV and look at culture and say, wow, okay, it's cool. Maybe I should go identify as a girl. That's totally acceptable. That's totally acceptable. The image that God created me in his image was wrong, and I'm going to change that. So God has been a liar, which that's not the case. And I think it says, or perhaps it was proof that the line that used to separate them may no longer exist. I think Pastor Jack Hibbs summed this up pretty well 3-4 weeks ago when we were at the state capitol on AB 495. You need to use your guiding principles in the Bible. And I'm saying it differently. I'm saying it the way I guess I interpret it. When you go to that polling station, when you go to your activism, when you hear something on TV and said, I'm not going to write that email. I think at Charlie's, we are called to speak on truth. We are called to call out lies. If you consider yourself a good, faithful person, and you see all these lies and you're doing nothing to spread truth, I don't know. It seems like kind of an issue. I mean, and it's my opinion. It's my opinion. Politics actually brought me closer in a better walk with my faith because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I'm preaching all this stuff, what we need to do in the school districts and the school board. I better walk that walk. I better open that Bible each day and read. I better, when I'm driving home from Arizona and I'm not live, what kind of music am I going to listen to? Worship? Okay. And when you start doing that, you start seeing a lot more clearly. I can't tell you enough how it is. But awesome. And we'll probably get into this even more. Again, we've been on the road for 4 days. We've had all kind of issues this morning. And then guess what? Say a prayer for the household. I'm going to get in trouble. Our washer went out. And it's an older washer. And it's been having problems for a while. I kind of laugh, but it's just out now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, with 4 people in the house. And it's going to be a nightmare. We got to work on that, but that's all right. The Lord will provide. He always does. Even when I'm stressing out, you guys don't even know. We're going to talk about that when we talk about Google. So Kamala Harris, was on an interview on MSNBC. One of the things that is going viral is this right here. Let me see.
With the
Listen to this. Tell me what you think. I got to do it like this, so it's commentary.
I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket.
Talking about Pete Buttigieg. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he was gay.
Because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump, who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for president of the United States, and
that's amazing. A black woman running for president, an Indian woman running for Senate.
As a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk. No matter how, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part, but
that
we had such a short period of time, and the stakes were so high. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant.
But he couldn't be my running mate because he was gay. This is the party.
And I think America is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, and maybe I was being too cautious, I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that. Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made, and I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
With a great deal of sadness about also the fact that it might have been a risk.
Man, that coming out of a Democrat. Now, there's some things about Pete Buttigieg that a lot of people, I would say conservatives, probably many conservatives don't agree with, and independents don't think that children should be adopted into gay households. I mean, they literally sat on a hospital bed taking pictures of their purchased child. And there was a lot more than just that. I mean, Pothole Pete. Let's not even go to the fact he was gay. He accomplished nothing. Everything that was part of his administration did not get done under Joe Biden. They did not want to talk about this during the 2024 eletion. How much was it? Was it $8 billion? No, maybe it was. Because he was a secretary of transportation. He was doing what Sean Duffy is now. And, but she's getting some slack from the left for that. You wouldn't pick him because he was gay. I mean, she admits it. I don't know. Here she talks about, I love this. And then we're going to show you some polling on Kamala. Again, when she was inserted after the coup on Joe Biden, people were looking at the polls like, this person was hated by everybody. The only reason she was picked was because her sex and her race. So the left could say, see, we're equal people. We got Indian, black, female as vice president. Listen to this. Listen to what they say about Mamdani.
Who you met with in this way include some of the people who you see very frequently now on MSNBC: Jasmine Crockett, Angela Also Brooks, Maxwell Frost, Robert Garcia Moore. Arguably the fastest rising star right now in Democratic politics is Zoran Mamdani, who is going to be elected mayor of New York City, and probably in a landslide if the polls are anything to go by.
Ask Kamala about the polls.
Lots of mainline Democrats have been very shy about his candidacy. They seem somewhat flummoxed by his success as a sort of talent spotter in the Democratic Party. Yeah. What do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race, sure. But let me just say this. He's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world, and here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
And I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno.
So just get behind him no matter what. There's people that don't want to endorse communism. They'll do it if the money's there. There isn't one person in the Democrat Party that if the money's there and it's going to help them fundraise, that's all they care. They've been broke since the defunding of USAID and all the NGOs that are now losing money. Now the fact that we're going after people like Antifa and the organizations that fund it, that will be disappearing. You wait and see. And then we've been talking about the rhetoric and everything that's going on.
Right now.
She made some comments about President Trump. This party of the Democrat Party, the Socialist Communists, have constantly said tyrant, Nazi. Think about it. These are all things that justifies physical violence. If you're American and let's just say you love this country and somebody's destroying it, that is your job to act, right? So they keep up with this. Take a listen to this right here.
Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And
the Party of Communists is calling Donald Trump a communist dictator, a tyrant. Man, sounds like a justification for violence by any means necessary, right? Old Uncle Bill just gifted a subscription on the Oreo Express. We thank you, Old Uncle Bill. We appreciate you, and thanks for gifting those subscription. That went to R.C. Burt. Big shout out. Thank you. Let's see. Let me move this over here. Just insanity. How about this? What's our next story? Same thing. Let's listen to what she says on The View. Let's listen. Former vice president. She talks about grieving the way she grieved when her mother died. She honestly thought this was all in the bag, that she would be taken care of, if you know what I mean.
Doug and I, my husband, it wasn't until I was writing that chapter that we had ever talked about election night.
Wow. Oh.
We had never talked about election night.
It felt traumatic?
It was that traumatic. Mm-hmm. We had never talked about election night.
Yeah.
So I'm writing it and I'm thinking about it. And, and there were a number of people who I could kind of what was your, the different perspectives of a moment. And that's when Doug told me that he had been out campaigning with my brother-in-law in Pennsylvania, and we met back up in D.C. And I remember him being a little out of sorts, but there was so much happening. But on his way back from a rally where there was an incredible amount of enthusiasm, people on the ground were like, we got it, we're going to do this. And then they talked with a mutual friend of ours who was over at Fox News in the war room, who had been hearing about data that suggested things were not looking great in Pennsylvania. And the way I write about it, I mean, my poor husband, so he didn't want to put that on me. He went upstairs and he basically went in the shower and prayed that it was not going to be a bad night.
Prayed? They prayed? Wow. Man, yeah, I bet you he had his cult flag, his alphabet cult flag right there.
And it was, you know, my family was there, everybody was there. I've always on election, I'd done family and friends and dinner. But that night, I grieved in a way that I have not since my mother died.
Man. We grieved too. We dodged a bullet, a very big bullet. One last thing I just want to say, the lie continues. Listen to what she says about Joe Biden here, and then we'll move on. I just thought this was interesting stuff.
And I also am very clear and have made a point of making it clear. Joe Biden was a highly capable president who accomplished great things that history will talk about.
Yeah, 10% inflation, open borders, putting illegals ahead of American citizens. Such America last. It was an America last administration. Bottom line. And we are dealing with the consequences today. You can't have 4 years of America last and expect it to get better overnight. Not going to happen. Just absolutely insane. Oh, what's the next story? Let's see. I have to reload all these. Just in case you were wondering, this is CNN. Take a look at this right here. Tell me what you think.
On a messenger to go against Donald Trump. You could do far better as Democrats than Kamala Harris. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at her net favorable ratings nationwide. You know, back in October of 2024, she was at -5 points. Not exactly great, but pretty close to the zero mark, right? Pretty close to even. But now, down under she goes. She's at -13 points. That's an 8-point drop. Since the general election among the overall electorate, she is not well liked at this particular point. The American people, they don't want this. They don't want her. And get this, she's 37 points underwater with independents. If you can't win independents, you can't win the election. And the bottom line is, with those in the center of the electorate, those who are the most up for grabs, she is way underwater. She is definitely swimming with the fishes.
So that
Definitely swimming with the fishes. But, you know, if CNN would change that if she got into any election right now. If she jumped into the run for California governor, they would be out there saying she's liked by everybody. This is the most enthusiasm we've seen on a governor candidate in years. You guys know how it's all fake. It's all fabricated for you. A little bit of honesty there from CNN. This was from the White House. Take a look at this. It says Antifa is a militarist, anarchist enterprise that explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and our system of law. Thanks to the leader of President Trump, they are now classified as a domestic terrorist organization. Now, I didn't have time to bring something up, but I want to bring something up right now. Give me a second. I think it was Dan Goldman. Again, these were the brown shirts for the Democrat Party. These were the folks. These were the Democrat street soldiers. Whenever they needed violence in a city, Antifa was there. I think it was this one here. Let me see if it was under this one. What's the date today? It wasn't from his government. No, let me go back. It was under his personal account. Listen to this. Name one member of Antifa. If it explicitly calls for the overthrow of the U.S. government, where can I find that statement? Trump is trying to suppress opposition by labeling anyone who dissents as domestic terrorist. Don't be fooled. This is lawless and unconstitutional. Now we know, and so the way Antifa organizes is different from many other organizations. Some actually do have their chapters where they have a list of people that are in it. Andy No has covered Antifa probably better than anybody. You can go to Andy No's page and look. But they declare themselves Antifa. They wave the proud, go out in groups to destroy, to intimidate, to vandalize, to assault people that they disagree with. And I just find it funny that Dan Goldman, again, a Democrat, says, name one member of Antifa. Well, this is going to be getting really good because once again, if you guys remember, and we'll get into it in a little while, but you remember when the riots were going on in California because of ICE, and there was cars burning in the street, buildings being vandalized, people being chased and assaulted if they were anything of a patriot. It says, this was CBS's news right here, and it says President Trump signed in an executive order Monday labeling Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization after teasing the move last week. Legal experts say Trump lacks authority to designate domestic terrorist organizations. The President of the United States, the person that was elected, all 7 swing states, popular majority, he can't designate these people. I can't wait till the lawsuit comes out on this one, because those same NGOs, those same people that funnel money to destroy this country will do everything they can to make Antifa saints. And somebody posted this, and this is kind of going back to what I said. Who remembers this
Safeguard
right here?
Constitutionally protected rights, but we will not tolerate assaults on law enforcement. Hello, I'm Bill Asaley, United States Attorney for the Central District of California.
And I'm Akil Davis, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office.
And I'm Tyler Hatcher, the Special Agent in charge of IRS criminal investigation here in Los Angeles.
The right to assemble and protest peacefully is protected by law. Unfortunately, we have seen individuals whose intentions are to cause damage and to assault law enforcement. For example, last week we arrested an individual who was charged with conspiracy to commit and aiding and abetting civil disorders. These violent agitators put peaceful demonstrators at risk.
The FBI and our federal partners will continue to investigate individuals and organizations who are knowingly funding or committing acts of violence against law enforcement, as well.
Organizations that are funding. Listen to that. We played this when it happened
the
months
destruction
ago.
of property.
We are currently tracing money to determine who is providing funding for these riots. Funding crime doesn't just affect the criminals, it also disrupts entire communities. Each dollar funneled into illegal operations fuels violence, undermines law and order, and perpetuates fear.
So with that being said, it wasn't a couple days after that everything died down in LA. Everything died down. These people, their funding's cut off. These groups were worried that, they're sending $10,000 to this. Let's buy $5,000 worth of masks. Remember all that? Then all of a sudden, kind of silence. That was, again, Bill Asaley that put that in motion. And again, when you cut off the money, you cut off the funding, and you go after the people funding, they get a little nervous. Hey guys, slow it down. They're on to us. We've been getting away with this for decades. We gotta slow down. We gotta reevaluate and see how we can funnel this money without being caught. This is is perfect for why Antifa is designated as a terrorist organization. They are the cockroach scum of society. And I feel bad for a lot of them. Again, I think it was Katie Davenport went through I think it was Katie Davenport in Portland, went through some of the arrest records of the people that were arrested for violence and vandalism outside of the ICE detention facility. This is probably a month ago. Over 90% were trans or identified as something other than what God created them, non-binary. And again, you got to ask yourself, why are these people so violent? Why did they resort to violence all the time? Just insane. Just insane. Let's see, where are we going now? Let's see. So, Jimmy Kimmel. We talked about it yesterday on our drive-in chat. Jimmy Kimmel, Disney said, we're going to bring Jimmy Kimmel back. And his first show is tonight. And this is after that Democrats lied, that said the Trump administration had forced this. And Disney came out and said, we've had no communications with the Trump administration. Again, that's what fascists do. Whatever you're doing, point the finger at your opposing party. And we've seen that for a long time with Democrats. Every time that they talk, oh, Trump's going to weaponize the government against its own people. Well, you did that. You did it to parents at school board meetings. You did it to any patriot. You did it to me. You did it to numerous people that were standing up for freedom and the Constitution. And I don't understand how losing a job for saying something or being suspended is silencing free speech. Your speech has consequences. If I work at the fire department, taxpayer funded, if I'm a teacher and I go out and I celebrate another American citizen's assassination, or I go call a black man a derogatory name, should be fired. I don't think taxpayers should be on the hook for your despicable behavior. Same thing, private companies can do the same. Well, after it was announced, Sinclair had announced yesterday that Sinclair Broadcasting Group would not be airing Jimmy Kimmel, and that it says beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. They're like, no. Not in our market. And then people are saying, oh, you know what? This is going to hurt Sinclair so bad. And then Scott Wiener, I know, the pedophile that's always behind Gavin Newsom in the press conference. He says, can't wait to break up Sinclair. It sounds really fascist. Corporate media consolidation doesn't jibe with democracy. And although Sinclair isn't a fan of democracy, most people are. Oh, it's democracy again. I forgot. The same democracy that canceled and fired people for not getting an experimental jab. The same one that said, hey, you can't talk about alternatives to a vaccine, even though ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and other things have been proven to work. You can't talk about it. And then I thought it was interesting, and we're going to get into it because another one joined the thing. Brendan Carr says, and there it is. On Kimmel, the Democrats are engaged in nothing more than projection and distortion. Projection, because the Democrats are the one that spent years illegally weaponizing government to silence dissent. And it is Democrats that will do it all again, as they are openly telling you today. Distortion, because Democrats want to blame anything other than Disney and their local TV stations for Kimmel's suspension. Those businesses decided that. In their view, a suspension made sense. The reporting on this is clear. Notably, this is the first time recently that any local TV station has pushed back on a national programmer like Disney. And that's a good thing, because we want empowered local TV stations. After all, local TV stations, not the national programmers, have the public interest obligations, and they should be making decisions that are in their view that meets the needs of their local communities. I walked through all of this in my Concordia remarks yesterday, which are posted below. And what does it say? And he shares Scott Wiener's fascist post that says they want to break up Sinclair. They're going against, they're not following the rules. They're not following the Democrat rules. So we need to break them up. But then it gets even better, right? Next Star Media Group has joined Sinclair Station, saying it won't air Jimmy Kimmel's return to late night on its ABC affiliates. Oh, this is hilarious, guys. And, you know, I have a strong suspicion he will be back. I really do. I just love the fact that Democrats, when they demand something, they usually get their way, especially in media. They've controlled the media for quite a long time. And they controlled it very similar to North Korea controls media when we had COVID, when we had the lockdowns, when anybody questioned election interference, they controlled it. Local radio stations here that called themselves conservative could no longer talk about 2020 possibly being rigged. Another reason why I turned off all local broadcast radio. I listen when I'm in my car. I have my phone hooked up to the radio, and if I want to, I'll listen to a podcast or a live stream of something. I don't listen to the dying radio. Again, they are controlled. What was this one? Check this out. This was it. Next Star joins Sinclair in pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air tonight after his lies about Charlie Kirk's assassination. It says, we made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following what ABC referred to as Mr. Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments at a critical time in our national discourse. We stand by that decision pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue in the markets we serve. In the meantime, we note that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be available nationwide on multiple Disney-owned streaming products, while our stations will focus to continue to produce local news and other programming relevant to their respective markets. This move will keep Jimmy Kimmel lies out of hundreds of million Americans' household. So all the liberals that I guess were fighting to keep Jimmy Kimmel, and they canceled their Disney and Hulu and all that. If you want to watch them tonight, you better reinstate your little Disney premium package, because you're not going to watch them on TV. What a absolute craziness. What an absolute craziness. And I just wanted to, again, they're talking about free speech. We're going to get into something that has a lot more to do with actual free speech and censorship in a minute. But there was a guy, and we haven't been able to talk about this too much because we've been on the road, who shot up Sacramento's ABC station because they suspended Jimmy Kimmel. He was released on bail. He literally did a drive-by on ABC, and now it's being confirmed. This was from Nick Sortor. That he left a note warning Trump officials they're next and referenced Charlie Kirk. It says California released him on bail, but now he's been rearrested by the FBI. He even signed the note CK for Charlie Kirk from above. CK from above. It says, the note said, do not support Patel, Bongino, and AG Bondi. They're next. CK from above. A calendar reminder saying, do the next scary thing was also located. So this dude, And again, it's California, so you can go shoot up he wouldn't be in jail if it wasn't for the FBI. California released him on bail after doing a drive-by because Jimmy Kimmel was canceled. And he wasn't canceled, he was suspended. This is the state of criminalism in California. And now let's get into the actual censorship here in a second, but I want to show you the difference of liberals. We're going to go 2025 and today. Take a look at this. This is one of your favorites from The View. I think it's Jaylen's favorite on The View.
Our founders drafted the First Amendment specifically to protect the rights of citizens to criticize the government. When you cross that kind of societal norm, you must pay the consequence. And firing her was the right thing to do. I'm thrilled that ABC did it.
Thrilled that ABC fired Roseanne. But now, our Constitution is fundamental to democracy. 2018, what Constitution? Insane, right, guys? Insane. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to go deep on this. House Judiciary Committee. Good stuff here. Google admits censorship under Biden. Promises to end bans of YouTube accounts of thousands of Americans censored for political speech. It says today, thanks to oversight of Chairman Jim Jordan, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations. And listen, here's the caveat. On topics such as COVID-19 and elections, an opportunity to return to their platform. Google has also admitted the following to the House Judiciary Committee. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. The Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities. The company will never use third-party fact checkers. Europe's censorship laws targeting American companies and threatening American speech, including the removal of lawful content. We've been waiting patiently because we know this administration promised to end the censorship complex. Now, I want to tell you a little caveat here. I want to pull this up. I am praying that includes us, but when it says YouTube, due to political speech violations on topics such as COVID-19 and elections, an opportunity to return to their platform. Well, at the time we were banned from YouTube, it was because we covered a terrorist coming into the country that went viral. And we told you in 2023 we would be banned in 2024, and we were. And again, it was just days after spending, I think, 3 weeks on the border covering Joe Biden's open border when Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and the rest of the Democrats said we had no issue on our border. Most of you guys will remember that encounter. I think it was in Sabi, Arizona, where they had the No More Death Camps, another NGO that was aiding and facilitating the illegal entry, aiding and abetting illegal entry. Some of these people on the terrorist watch list, some of these people already convicted of murder, rape, child molestation, and the Democrats couldn't have us out there doing this. We were showing you truth. Now, Facebook, another one. We need Facebook to step up. And the reason why, I'm not a fan of Google or Facebook. But my job is to reach as many people as I can. And I did that on Google and Facebook. No offense to Rumble. I love Rumble. And I love X. But there's a lot of Americans that aren't on Rumble, that aren't on X. I think only 25% of Americans have X. So that's 75%. If you look at YouTube's numbers, if you look at Facebook's numbers, if you look at Instagram, they're doing quite well in reaching everyday households. And I've prayed for this day. It was one of my, closing the border, a lot of things were big on my list. And let me tell you something, if we can get just YouTube back, it would be a prayer answered. The left really celebrated our cancellation because they wanted me to be homeless. They wanted me to not be able to provide for my family. They wanted me to suffer because they disagreed with what I was saying. Not because I was violent. Not because I'm going out burning things down. No, because I carried a camera. And I showed you things that you couldn't see on mainstream media, legacy media. We traveled for months at a time, showing you what was going on in this country. 28, 30 states in the last 5 years. And it was pretty powerful. And I can tell you, I've gotten hundreds of emails that people that used to, and this is why they did it, because people tuned in and they seen the video firsthand. They heard my commentary in the background, but they seen the video firsthand. For example, the day after Mayorkas went to Brownsville, Texas, and said, we do not have open borders. These are right-wing talking points. And we pulled up there 4 hours after Mayorkas had left, and there was 600 to 800 people lined up waiting for buses, just walking across. And people would be like, I just seen on the news, and they would email me. I can't tell you the number of emails that people said, I'm never turning on mainstream media again. Thank you for what you do. And they wanted to silence that. There was times, and without an exaggeration, we still struggle. I can tell you right now, I'm 5 weeks late on rent. 5 weeks late on rent right now. And we've been doing this since pretty much, I just been praying. Can we just get caught up one time? We haven't been caught up since about 2 months after YouTube canceled us. We would get monetized. It wasn't even about super chats or anything else, just our monetization. And we only monetized 20% of our stuff because I knew that 80% didn't go with the monetization policies. That's why when you'd go there, some would be monetized and some wouldn't. I followed YouTube's guidelines because I didn't want to lose the account. Now, I said things like illegal alien. People didn't like that, but that's if you come across the border illegally, that's what you are. And I read this morning, and again, I'm not getting overly excited because, again, it says for topics such as COVID-19 and elections. Well, they did strike us before on COVID-19. When I lost my channel, I had no strikes and no warnings. My channel was clean. And so, and we're starting to see the things twist. We're starting to see those people that cheered on our suspension are watching what they're saying online. They're not saying the same thing because they're being watched now. American people can actually call for action against the people that are trying to incite violence. And I can tell you, like, I pray. I prayed on this a lot, and I stopped praying on it because I was like, man, it'll probably never happen. Now let's do Facebook next. And again, Facebook, I didn't get banned on Facebook because of COVID-19 or election talk. You know why I got banned? Because we went to, I think it was Tempe, Arizona, and we covered the groomers, adult men in lingerie, dancing for little kids at a coffee shop. And we got kicked off their property. We obeyed the law officer's orders. We didn't have any rude interaction, literally standing there with a camera. And then we went out to the street. People in that community drove up to us that had never seen our stuff before and gave, here's $40. Thank you for what you're doing. And that event, the owner shut it down because he didn't want controversy. And people complained because, again, just by shining a camera there, it shut it down. And again, sometimes the biggest disinfectant is light, and that's what we want to do, is travel and spread the light. And I'm telling you right now, if this continues, and we could get Google and Facebook back, what an opportunity that is for our country. And not just me, many others. There's many others that are in my same boat. And so I'm going to wait and see how this goes. I'm going to write, if I have to, Rep. Comer and Jim Jordan. I might even put a type of email for you guys to copy and paste and say, hey, I got the articles. I got all the screenshots of people encouraging me to be banned. I've got the fake article that Wired did. And we have all that. So just say a prayer, because again, like when I say I'm 5 weeks behind on rent, I'm not exaggerating. We put, and I work a lot more than most people would imagine. I get in trouble for working so much. And I do. I like, sometimes I'm like, I just need a day off. I just need to put everything away. But because there's so much going on right now, and because they have canceled so much, you have to be working all the time just to even put food on the table. And so God bless the Republicans for doing this. God bless Trump administration for making this a priority. But it's just incredible. Hold on. AKA Robert gifted 20 subscriptions to the Oreo Express. AKA Robert, thank you so much. You guys, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for you guys, honestly, we wouldn't be bringing you the stuff we're bringing you. We wouldn't have the family that we've built over the years, the Oreo Army. And again, AKA Robert, thank you so much. Check this out. Number 23 and 24, the company terminated channels for repeatedly violating its community guidelines on election integrity content through 2023 and COVID-19 content to 2024. Today, YouTube's community guideline allows for a wider range of content regarding COVID-19 and election integrity, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression. YouTube will provide the opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violations of COVID-19 and election integrity policies that are no longer in effect. This isn't that big of a win, because again, if you were covering the border, if you were covering something Democrats didn't want you to, it says YouTube values conservative voices on its platform, and it recognized that these creators have extensive reach and play in an important role in civic discourse. The company recognizes the creators are among those shaping today's online consumption, landing must-watch interviews, giving viewers the chance to hear directly from politicians, celebrities, business leaders, and more. So it seems like they're sliding out. I'm praying that we're just in that category. I am. And if you guys would pray too, I would appreciate it. And Jim Jordan, I'm going to email him as well. Breaking, due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. But that's not all. It says, and it goes in. This statement of facts is submitted on behalf of our client, Alphabet Incorporated, its subsidiary YouTube, collectively Alphabet or the company, in response to subpoenas issued by the House Committee on the Judiciary on February 15, 2023 and March 6, 2025. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. I'm praying, and I need you to pray too. Let's see. We'll do that in the next show. What else did we have? Donald Trump was, I love this. They're getting triggered by this. Donald Trump speaking in New York for the United Nations. Listen to what he says. Again, this is epic. This is epic. This is what I voted for.
You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down.
Listen to that.
Tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. You have to end it now. Sid, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. Carol Burton says a verdict reached in the Trump assassination attempt in Florida. I'll probably cover that on the next show.
In America, we've taken bold action.
But just absolutely epic. And then he posts this out. It was a great honor to speak before the United Nations. I believe the speech was very well received. It focused very much on energy and migration, immigration. I have been talking about this for a long period of time, and this forum was the absolute best from the standpoint of making these two important statements. I hope everybody gets to watch it. The teleprompter was broken, and the escalator came to a sudden halt as we were riding up the podium. But both of those events probably made the speech more interesting than it would have been otherwise. It's always been an honor to speak at the United Nations, even if their equipment is somewhat faulty. Make America great again. You got to love that, man. You got to love that, man. So, again, guys, we are 100% viewer funded. Again, I would love you to say prayers for just our financial status. Just, I don't want to get rich doing this. I just want to pay the bills. Bottom line, if you guys want to help support us, you can go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army. We also have giftsandgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then if you do mobile or online banking, our Zelle link is provided for you to do that on our website. It's also going to come up in about 1 minute on the screen. But our website is theoreoexpress.com just theoreoexpress.com. So I want to say thank you to all those who have been helping us out, all those that is the reason why we're still here today. We got a long fight ahead of us. This doesn't end. It's probably going to get worse over the next couple of years with all the lies and everything that they're doing. So that's why we need independent folks to be out there. And again, if you guys want to donate, all those will come up. We will see you in possibly 3.5 hours to 4 hours, depending on what time I do the show. I am getting a 90-minute workout in the gym for lunch today because we've been gone for so long. I feel like I need to work out. So God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys soon. Take care now.
Well, hop aboard the Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart.